Welcome to setting up your HTML archives. This video is meant to just get you started on how to use everything. The first thing we're going to do is create a new folder and call it HTML. For ease of purposes, I'm going to go ahead and keep this in my desktop. If you feel like you want to keep it somewhere else, feel free to do so. But you're going to need access to this file on a pretty consistent basis. Alright, now open this thing up, and if this is the first lesson, we want to create a folder called Lesson 1. Again, this is a good way to just keep organized. All of our things for Lesson 1 will be in essentially the Lesson 1 folder. There's two ways to set up HTML files. Let's look at the first way. Now that I've got my folder HTML created and a lesson 1 inside there created, let me go ahead and create a web page that I can run and execute. Let's follow along to what our instructions are giving us. So once I have created a HTML page along with lesson 1, the next order of business is to create this practice 1. To do so, I'm going to use Notepad++. So I've got a new file going here. I'm going to open this thing up, create a brand new file. I'm going to save this file, save as. I'm going to choose the HTML library, lesson 1, and I'm going to call this practice.html. Be sure you end with .html, and on all types, choose hypertext markup language file and hit save. Next, let's run our very first HTML code. So according to practice 1, this is the code that we want to get in there. Let's talk about each tag and what they mean. The HTML tags, they contain the entire set of your code. What these tags essentially are telling you is that the code that the browser is about to read is in the hypertext markup language format. That's all that is. These tags will contain all the code that you write. The heading contains information about the web page, information about what the content of the web page will be, along with any other useful information that you might feel you need. This is a comment in HTML. Comments are ignored by the browser. You may write comments, and in fact you should write comments to clearly demonstrate what you are doing in that particular section of code. The reason for a title is to give web search engines such as Google the ability to search for your page. The words that you put inside this title are the words that'll match up with specific word searches and keywords in Google. The body is an important section. This contains what we call the heart of your code. This is stuff that'll actually physically appear on your website. The header is typically a bigger font. Typically you want to use H1 headers whenever you have a new section of code that's starting. And a paragraph is a smaller section of code. It can hold text, and it will be definitely smaller than H1. Let's go ahead and run this code. To run HTML code, all you need is your web browser. First, find where you saved this thing. So I'm going to go to my HTML folder and pull up lesson 1. You'll notice that a default icon shows up next to practice. What that means is when I execute this page, when I run this page, Google Chrome will be the one to launch it. And there you go. That's my page. The symbol that appears here will be your default web browser. So if you use Internet Edge, Firefox, or something else, that's the symbol that'll appear here.